AI from Stephanie White, one of the librarians from our Troy campus. So take it away, Stephanie.
Okay, give me just a second to get the video doing what I want it to do. Okay, everybody see the slides?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, awesome. So hi everyone, today I'm going to talk to you about artificial intelligence, or AI, also known as. Mainly generative AI is what we're going to go over today. There is a difference that we'll talk about in a little bit. This is meant to be a basic overview of what Gen AI is and how it works, some types of generative AI, and some hazards to look out for. I just want to say I am by no means a computer scientist, so do not ask me about computer code or anything. I am coming to this presentation from the perspective of a librarian, so that's kind of what you'll see as I'm talking, and I'm focusing on the interface, user interface of Gen AI, rather than the nitty-gritty techie details, though I will go over that generally. First, I want to say for students, always consult your professors and course syllabi on AI usage policies before using AI for any coursework. And then faculty, if you have any questions about Troy's AI usage policies or AI use in the classroom, please consult your college dean or Troy's AI task force, which is led by Dr. Richard Noakes, who's actually attending the presentation now. He helped me a lot putting this together and is just very responsive and great if you have any questions about using AI in the classroom. So what is artificial intelligence? Many people think of robots when they hear the term. I know I do, and they would be right, but there's much more encompassed within that. So essentially, artificial intelligence is any computer program or machine that simulates human intelligence using algorithms, data, and computational power. Robots are one example, like legitimate robots, what you think of, as well as self-driving cars, Siri or Alexa, and also encompassed within that are chatbots, or like ChatGPT, which are a type of AI known as generative AI, and that's really what's been kind of on the scene and becoming talked about a lot more in academia. So ChatGPT, which is the one that many people have heard of and students are really familiar with, and Copilot are a form of AI called generative AI. Generative AI is a machine learning model, fancy word, that is trained on massive sets of data to create new data that looks like the data it was trained on. It does this by identifying patterns in the data it was trained on and using those learned patterns to generate new content or novel content, typically in response to a prompt from a user. I did want to note that embedded AI tools, like when you're in Microsoft Word, such as Grammarly, are not generative AI. Grammarly enhances existing content. It may help you with your spelling, or changing up a word here or there, but it's not generating new content, so it wouldn't be generative AI. Over on the right, I have kind of an example of a conversation I had with ChatGPT. You see I'm asking it for a joke and then for a poem. That's my prompt. And then it generated novel content for me. So here are some examples of generative AI split up by their intended function. Over on the left are ChatGPT, Google Gemini, and Microsoft Copilot. These are all chatbots. They are trained, they're using something called large language models, which essentially means they focus on language and their output is mainly like language and text based. And they respond to questions from users and compose various written content, like they can do articles, social media posts, computer code even, and emails. And then in the middle, those are our research specific AI tools that are available, just some of them. Research Rabbit lets you input a scholarly article or an article and then generates related articles and really helps you visualize connections between scholarship. Consensus is set up like a chatbot and helps researchers find and synthesize answers to research questions, focusing on scholarly authors' findings and claims in each paper. And then Elicit finds papers relevant to your topic by looking through papers and citations, and then synthesizes key information from each paper. Then over on the right, we have some really more art-specific generative AI. DALL-E was made by the same people who made ChatGPT, and it generates images in response to a user prompt and will edit images. Adobe Firefly can generate images and be used to edit images. And then for those of you who are familiar with Canva or use Canva, it's just came out with something called Magic Media, which is a tool within its design software that can generate images, graphics, and video in response to a prompt. So as this is a library presentation, I wanted to narrow in on how Gen AI is being used in research. These are just some of the ways it's being used. It's analyzing and summarizing research articles so you can quickly pinpoint if that article is going to be relevant to your research or not. It recommends and finds related articles. It can help find gaps in literature. It helps to analyze and visualize data. It reviews drafts and makes wording, grammar recommendations, and then it can assist with formatting citations. So it's a really great, helpful tool, and I don't think it's going to go away. It's just going to continue to develop, but there are some limitations and ethics to consider when using them. I think anyone who's going to be using generative AI needs to be aware of these things. So first, and what we in the library are seeing a lot of are hallucinations. So basically, if you ask generative AI for scholarly articles, you can get responses that are not real. They may seem real. The author may be an expert in the field. That paper may exist in the field by a different author or a slightly different title, but it does not exist. On the right, you can see some examples of that in practice. So the picture at the top is an article from the New York Times talking about a situation where a man sued an airline for personal injury claim. His lawyer used ChatGPT to prepare a court filing for it. And in the filing, the lawyer is referencing previous cases and court rulings that really relate to this man's claim. But it turned out none of those case rulings were real. And when the lawyer was confronted about it by the judge, the lawyer said that he had asked ChatGPT if the cases were real, and it said, yes, they're real, they're completely real, and even had a listing and like document numbers and everything, but none of them actually happened. And then on the bottom right, this is my conversation with ChatGPT. And I'm asking for scholarly articles on the social behavior of cats. You can see, especially those last 3 little articles it gave me. I don't know of anyone who has a name with that many initials. If any of you do, please tell me. But that's a lot, especially number 5, or number 4. Yeah. So I just want to draw this out again. If a resource that you've gotten from an AI chatbot cannot be found anywhere else or using other databases or search engines, it is likely it does not exist. Really, it's better to avoid using generative AI like ChatGPT to actually find articles. It's really not originally intended for that use, and just the chance of hallucination is too high. It's not worth it. It'll just send you on a wild goose chase. So another limitation is that results from generative AI cannot be duplicated oftentimes. The same input will give different results. You can see this is 3 different conversations I had with ChatGPT on the screen. This can be a drawback mainly in fields where reliability and consistency are vital, like healthcare or finance. An important ethical consideration is the inherent bias in AI. So human bias makes its way into generative AI content and training data, resulting in bias outcomes that typically are negatively impacting minorities or marginalized groups. And then privacy is also a big concern, again, especially in fields that deal with sensitive data, like the healthcare field, the education field. They have certain regulations they have to follow, like FERPA and HIPAA. And the thing is, these AI systems like ChatGPT may be retaining the information that you put in them and then using that information as training data. And it's unclear exactly how secure and protected the data in a Gen AI system is, meaning that the data could be leaked. And my bottom line is, if you would not put it on a billboard for everyone to see, do not put it into an AI system. And then copyright, they're still kind of developing how copyright works in terms of generative AI. There have been several lawsuits over Gen AI companies using an artist or an author's original work to train an AI model and then create new content from that, copying the style of art or language in the work it was trained on. And then there's also not a clear answer on who owns AI generated material or if copyright or patent or trademark applies to it. There was somebody who used Gen AI to make a graphic novel, and they really weren't sure. The courts weren't exactly how much of the graphic novel the author actually owned, because even though they had put the prompts in to make it. But since it was made by Gen AI, it just became a bit of a question of can this be copyrighted or not? My final notes are to be privacy conscious when you are using AI. Assume AI tools are not secure for sensitive data unless clarified by Troy's AI IT department. Properly cite AI assisted works. Be aware as is possible of what materials were used to train the AI model you were using and if they were acquired ethically. And then be aware of limitations and bias, hallucinations and inconsistent information, as well as potentially biased results and results that perpetuate bias. And that's my presentation. These are my references. I know that was a quick overview, and let me know if you have any questions. I hope it was helpful.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. That was a very informative presentation. Just a reminder to everyone, you will be getting a recording of this webinar, so don't worry if you have missed anything. I know there was a lot of information presented, so don't worry, you'll be able to watch it again. But before we close out, does anybody have any questions? Just drop them in the chat or turn your microphone on and just ask away.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I see Laura is here. She and Jennings are working on an excellence in teaching canvas shell for us all. I'm probably speaking out of turn since she's here. Would you be willing to offer some version of this for us to eventually put in that shell under AI resources for faculty to see?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Great, thank you.
Yeah,
I'm sure
I'd be
everyone would
happy to.
appreciate it.
Yeah, I'd be happy to get some use out of it after putting it together and everything. So
Do we have any other questions or comments? Alrighty. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed the presentation and learned a little something. And like I said, we'll be sending all this information out. And if you have any questions, you can respond to Stephanie, of course, or you can respond to me or any of the team members. All of our contact information will be included in the follow-up email that we will send out to everyone soon. Probably tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah.
It'll be soon. So thank you so much to everyone, and we hope to see you for the next one. Goodbye.
Thanks, everyone.